Hi, and welcome to the Room of Rock with Ted and I. Now this time in the Room of Rock, this is a little short tip video showing you how to adjust the screws, the large screws, on either a stop tailpiece or the Gibson style tune-o-matic bridge, using something you'll have around your house without actually marking any of the screws. So if that interests you, hang around. Well, if you like what we do here in the Room of Rock, please think about giving us the old thumbs up, maybe even subscribing. It means a lot to us. It means a lot to young Teddy boy there, as you know. I've forgotten the number of times I've looked at second-hand guitars on eBay or in shops, anything with like a tune-o-matic style bridge or a stop tailpiece like this one. The amount of times the screws have been damaged and the plating marred on them, where people have adjusted them with using an incorrect tool and damage them, and it's unsightly, and it also can make them sharp, and they are part of the playing area. If you're palm muting or something, you don't actually want anything on the bridge sharp, you want it nice and smooth so it's comfortable to play and there's no danger of you actually catching your skin or your clothes on it. Anyway, I'll bring the camera in a bit closer and I'll show you exactly what I do to make sure when I adjust anything I don't damage any of the finish on the screws. Well, we've got the camera in a bit closer now, so hopefully you get a better look. This tends to be what a lot of people use. They get their biggest screwdriver they've got out the shed or whatever, and if you put that in there, it's not the full width of the screw, so that it's almost, I think, only about 2/3 of the width of the screw, and it's sloppy in the slot. So as soon as you start putting any pressure on that, that is just going to mar the slots. So you could get a bigger screwdriver. Here we go. As we can see, that's a pretty big screwdriver now. Now that doesn't fit in there properly, and that's still not the full width of the screw slot. Considering how big that screwdriver is, you know, that's still not doing it. So what I do is I use nothing more complicated than the back of a stainless steel knife. Now the knife will span the whole slot so that when you rotate it gently, it won't dig into the slot because it's gone and spanned the whole slot on the screw head. So, and it's a pretty snug fit. One thing you must do is slacken off the string tension. Don't try and fight the screws under string tension, because even if you move the screws without damaging them, you run the risk of stripping the thread on them. So it's a good time, if you're adjusting it, maybe at string change time, or just slacken off, you know, a turn on each of the machine heads, slacken off the string tension, and then you can do it. And sometimes, to be honest, on one of these, you might even be able to do it by hand with the string tension released. But an old knife, the back of the knife, so it's smooth. Now what you have got to be careful of is, because it's long, that it's not going to go on the surface of the guitar as you're turning. So you need to be a bit sensible. But I guarantee you can adjust the screws without damaging screws on the guitar. So what I've honed that slightly. I now use this, which has ended up in my sort of guitar toolbox. And what this was a little baby knife that we had for the children when they were young. So it's very smooth, so they can't hurt themselves, and it's not as long. So that then it's got a handle as well. It just drops neatly in the slot, and you can then adjust those as you see fit without running any risk of damaging them. And I have adjusted these, and as you can see, I think if I move that in, there's no marks on them. They don't look like they've been touched. So now I'll show you the stop piece on the other guitar, the stop tail piece on that, just as that's slightly different, and there's something you need to be aware of on that particular bridge. Now even more so on this, being a stop tail piece, it does both functions. It not only adjusts the string height, it's also taking all the full tension of the string as well. So what you must do is loosen off the string tension before you make any adjustments, and that's so you don't risk stripping any threads. And again, using the back of a knife, you know, you can use this one. This one's my chosen weapon of choice. It's a nice snug fit across there. You know, you might even a fork handle gently, making sure the spiky bits of the fork, you know, that fits in there. I don't know if you can see, but span that with a, so it's nice and snug, and because it spans the slot and it's not actually in the slot as it's such, it's not going to mark it. Now the reason I've mentioned this one is this particular bridge, which on this is a Wilkinson bridge, locks in the centre of the posts. There's a little Allen grub screw that locks it down solid, so you have to release that before you can do any adjustment. So just so you're aware, so not only will you need to release the string tension, release the little grub screw in the middle, and then you can adjust the height. But I don't think the Gibson bridges are like that. This is sort of a development that Trevor Wilkinson's done when he designed this bridge, and it's a good one because it does lock it and it stops it tipping forward. As anyone would know who's got a stop tail piece, they do have a tendency to want to rock forward slightly because of the fact they're doing quite a bit of work. They're taking the string tension and they're also doing the height adjustment. So the higher you've got the action, the more force the bridge can apply on the posts. Now in terms of unlocking that, you know, normally you get a little bag of Allen keys with the guitar. These are the ones that actually came with this particular guitar, and the smallest Allen key in there does actually unlock the posts. I think it's the smallest one, or maybe the second smallest one, but one of them supplied does unlock it. So it's just something to be aware of. You know, I normally think if you're trying to do something and you're feeling reluctance from the screw or something, don't carry on. Investigate, see what's stopping it. It might just be that the screw's stiff because it's been in the body of the guitar for years and it's got sweated on and corroded up slightly, but there might be something else holding it that is stopping it from moving, and all you're doing is running the risk of breaking something or stripping the thread on something. And as we all know, as soon as we strip the thread on something, we just give ourselves a whole hill of pain to have to deal with. So if you want to adjust the large screws without marking them at all on your Gibson style bridges, scan your cutlery drawer, see what you can find. And as I say, you know, something nice and smooth, that's stainless steel. And if you do find something that's a nice snug slot, maybe just slip it in your little spares with your guitars, with your guitar strings, etc. So, but as I say, make sure you slacken the string tension off before you make any adjustment on these style of bridges, just so that you take the tension off of the actual threads, so that there's no danger of actually damaging the threads during adjustment. Well, I hope you found our little video both interesting and informative, and hopefully it'll help you out if you're trying to tackle the adjustment on a Gibson style bridge with the large screws that are easy to mark. I always think when you're working on your guitar, you want to get in there, do the job, get back out again without it looking like you've ever been in there in the first place. So you've got no chewed up screws, no damage to the finish that wasn't there before. So that's just my opinion. Anyway, we'll see you again soon in the Room of Rock with Ted and I.